another thing that I wanted to talk about was how people who are negatively polarized feel like they're separated from the light. They feel like they're in service to self because they don't feel like they're, oh shit, I gotta blur that. I'll leave that. I'll put a stick over it. So if I know there's something called the egg theory, where everything in the universe, the absolute is what the gateway process calls it. The absolute is everything in the universe that exists. It's just all of it is the absolute, and the absolute is what we can consider God. So if everything within the absolute has or is part of God, even like this little fur thingy or inanimate objects, if they even have a little bit of God in them, like any kind, like it's a conscience. I know rocks have conscience. I don't know for a fact, but I believe they do because they're elements. But if everything has a conscience, right? Okay, so say that you believe that you are separate from God and your divine inner light, you don't receive it, you don't get it, or you don't want it. You want to be a service to self person because you don't believe in God, because you're not experiencing miracles, or you don't see supernatural. Or if you have seen supernatural, but you've seen the opposite, like if you've seen demonic stuff or satanic stuff or whatever, and you've seen the supernatural work that way. But I mean, wouldn't you think if there is that, if that exists, isn't there actually something like God that created that? And I mean, maybe because you see those effects quicker, and maybe it scares you too, because we are on the material realm, and I assume that he believes he is the king of the material realm. But his God is also God. He reports to God, he works for God. And the reason that I say this is because whether anybody evil or not knows it or not, their consciousness, everybody's consciousness makes up, every single consciousness makes up the consciousness of Earth. So as soon as somebody who's negative polarized has a negative thought to sabotage somebody or to hurt somebody, Earth knows about it. And it's in the consciousness field, the idea there. I mean, they all swim around the head, like outside the head, because they have these machines that could pick up people's thoughts or what they're seeing. So the thoughts are not encapsulated in the head. They're outside the head. The consciousness surrounds the body like an aura. Like I've had past life regressions where I was up into the back of the person's head, that I was in them, but I was in me, and I was up here in the back, and it's when I was thinking the thoughts were in all three places at the same time. So I assume that God can do a lot more in view, around a lot more heads. And so the thing is, I know that the consciousness is outside the body too. I mean, it's inside, but it's also outside, because I've experienced it. And but we interact with this when we talk to people. So the thing is that if somebody has this scheming negative plot to do some harm to people, if Earth, as soon as they think it, Earth knows. Earth as a collective conscious knows. It would be in the field or the Akashic records or something like that, where anybody who tapped into it, who knows how to do that, I don't know how to do that, but anybody who tapped into it could read it and see what's going on, or what somebody was thinking or did in any one moment, because the Earth is aware of it, and nature is aware of it. And nature, they plot things synchronistically to either stop it or let it go ahead if it serves their purpose. Like if something that somebody wants to do bad ends up helping the greater good, and that is what God wants, that is God's will, he will let it happen. So if he was going to let it happen, that means that they're doing God's work. That means that they are doing God's work for him. So anything that they do, if it succeeds, it's because God wanted it to succeed, the Earth wanted it to succeed. Because they already know everything that they're going to do. There's nothing that they can hide from them. And the thing is, I would think that the only thing that they could possibly hide from Earth is if they were off planet. But even if you're off planet, God would still know. So if God would still know, you can't ever hide anything from God. You can't hide it. You just can't hide it. So any plan that you come up with, literally any plan that you come up with to do bad to anyone, any single person, if it works, it's because somehow, some way, later on, it's going to further God's plan. and it's going to backfire somehow for you. It might work now, but later on it's going to be your downfall, because something else bigger, grander, the big picture of his will is going to show itself, and you're not going to succeed in the long run. Regardless, no matter what you do, even if you succeed that one thing, in the long run, it's because God wanted you to succeed. So you still work for God, whether you're trying to or not. You still work for him. You just don't know it. You just don't believe that you do. You just think that you work for something else, but you really still work for God, and they really still work for God. Everybody here still works for God, whether they know it or not. Because even if they try not to, the only way that plans go through is if God lets it, or Earth lets it. Like, you can't get past that. And the moment you think it, Earth knows. Earth knows. It's how they explain the 100 monkey effect, because the consciousness is already past a certain tipping point. So all the monkeys know. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are a negative polarized person, and your service to self, and you think you have no light, or you feel like money serves your purpose more than spirituality, just know that you're mistaken. You do have a light inside of you. All you have to do is just maybe call on it. Maybe call on God and your guides. And there's always time to change. There's always time to change. And being a selfish person before, a long time ago, before I really even started thinking about these types of things, I know that now that I know myself more, it feels better to do things for other people, to make people happy, and just to see them laughing and happy and just doing well and healthy, than it is to manipulate somebody to get something out of them. It might serve my purpose because I might need something for this, or I'm using somebody for that. If I were to do that, I would be manipulating and lying to myself. I knew at that time I didn't feel like I was ever loved, because, in all honesty, if I'm always lying to people, or I'm always manipulating people, how can they know the true me? They don't know the real me, because I'm not letting them see the real me. I'm not being vulnerable. I'm not even being honest with them. They don't even know the real me. So how could I ever feel love like somebody really loves me? Nobody. I'm not gonna feel love because nobody knows who I am. Like, they just know a certain mask, and that's not fun. Feeling like nobody loves you. I swear, if you are a self-serving person, and you are lying to people and manipulating people, I swear to God, you know that you feel lonely. You know you do. There's no way that you could feel like they love you if you're not even showing who you are. You're not even being your true self. You're just a walking mask. That's freaking lonely. Like, not letting people see who you are, or not being honest with people. When you're honest with people, then you feel like you're showing people who you are, and that feels much better. It feels a lot better. A lot of people, like, they're worried about, like, maybe money, and I know money can buy a lot of things. I know money can be really nice, but you don't have to lie and manipulate to get it. You can just manifest it, or you don't have to do bad things to get it. You can do good things to get it still, And the thing is, too, is the law of one. If you're stealing from somebody or hurting somebody, you're stealing and hurting yourself, because I think, in the Bible it says, love your neighbor, or treat your neighbor the way that you would want to be treated. And the reason is, you treat them the way you would want to be treated, because they are you. They are you. So if you steal 17 pennies from them, I bet you, because this used to happen to me, 17 pennies in your purse is going to be missing. It's not barely noticeable. What I'm saying is that, like, if I had, like, taken money from somebody, it would always happen to me later on. Like, I would lose the same amount of money. Either later on that week or later on that day. I would lose it, or I'd actually spend it on something extra or something like that. It would never, it's not like I ever kept it or stayed with it, or, it was always, if I took it, it was taken from me. And I've had friends do that to me, like, go on my purse and take $100. That feels fucking shitty. And then, like, lie straight to my face. That feels fucking pretty bad. And the thing is, I know that they lost that money. I know that they lost that money because they said something about it, like, that they were missing that money. Probably thought I'd stole that. I don't know what they were thinking. They were crazy. But I know I don't have any subscribers or watchers. I'm literally just putting this on because I'm trying to use focused intention to put it to anchor it into reality and to seed it into people's mindsets, so that it can be in the field, so people can be conscious of it. Just like I was talking about, if I say it and I put my intention behind it, it will pop in people's heads. Like literally, I had this title in my head for that I thought was really, really catchy, really catchy views and whatever. And then literally the guy looked on TV and I saw somebody title their thing the same way. And I was like, wow, they really reached into the air and grabbed that out of the field. Like, I didn't even think of it that like that like far before that. It was pretty close. I don't know. Maybe it was like a week or something. And I also wanted to say too that it's never too late to realize that you're fighting a losing battle if you're trying to get a negative faction to win, because it's like I said, if God knows everything, even what the other side is doing at all times, there's no way that what he wants is not going to be accomplished. Like, no matter what plans they have, no matter what plans you think you can muster, like, it's if it is not meant to do some type of good or some type of pendulum or to even teach you a lesson, it's not going to happen. You know, there'll be some tree falling in the road, the person can't make it to the meetup, some weapons will malfunction and end up like ricocheting and shooting somebody else, or any number of things. You know, it's just anything can happen. You know, turn your head and then completely miss, or hit like a little tiny skin or something. Like, it's just that. That's all it is. And the thing is that too, if we are all one, that we need to forgive people who are doing negative things, because we have to forgive them. Like, we can't just be like, I mean, also they have to be held accountable, but I mean, if an apology is truly meant, then they deserve to be forgiven. If an apology is not sincere, then what do you need forgiveness for? Like, forgiveness is for sincere apologies. If it's not sincere, then there's no forgiveness. There's no forgiveness to be even get. Like, you don't want it if it's not sincere, so you won't even accept a forgiveness. Like, you know, like the contract between people. Like,